Good evening
Hello,
and
sound.
welcome again to another exciting session of Share Your Story, a program that seeks to educate and inform our Bahamian populace and the worldwide and the world at large concerning many issues and diseases that affect us here in the Bahamas. As you know, we are a country of over 700 islands and keys, and our population is less than a quarter of a million. However, as a nation, we are challenged with so many different issues and diseases. And so the purpose of the show is to highlight these conditions and diseases and individuals who have experienced or gone through certain illnesses and challenges, and some have succumbed and some are living with their conditions. And so we want to highlight them and we want them to share their stories and the challenges they're encountering and what they're dealing with, and also to bring on physicians and other persons who can give information as to the different diseases. My name is Dr. Ebby Sherrod Jackson, and I am your host for this evening. This Share Your Story. We're live on Facebook via Palmdale Vision Center and also on the YouTube channel. Now, we're in the month of May, and May is considered Cancer Awareness Month. And cancer is a big word in our country. It's the big C word. And during the month of May, they seek to highlight all the different types of cancers here in the country. So this evening, I'm so excited to have on the show two individuals who are involved with the Cancer Society of the Bahamas. I'm going to bring them into the platform, and then I'm going to start the conversation, and I will have them introduce themselves and tell us a bit about them. So I'm pleased to welcome into the show this evening Mistress Laverne Wild Goose and the esteemed, renowned Dr. Nicholas Fox from the Medi Center. Good evening to you both and welcome to Share Your Story.
Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Jackson. Good evening, Bahamas.
It's a pleasure to have you both, and good evening to the world, because you know we're now worldwide.
Yes.
Lady
Yes,
Laverne Wild Goose, how are you doing?
I am great, thank you.
Okay, and you know the good thing about technology now is we can be anywhere in the world and still connect.
Yes,
so it's an
ma'am.
exciting time for us all. And COVID has provided many opportunities. This pandemic has provided many opportunities for us to do exciting things. Miss Wild Goose, I want you to tell the audience about yourself, who you are, what have you been doing, and so on.
Okay, my name is Laverne Wild Goose. I am a retiree from the public service. Been retired now for about going on 5 years.
Which area, the public service?
I've worked in the public treasury for 33 years.
Oh, you were counting our money for us.
Yes, private firm for 6 before that. So I decided to retire, and my son had moved to Canada. So I'm in Canada 6 months out of the year. So presently I am in Canada. And a mother of 3 wonderful children, 2 boys and 1 girl. My husband died in 2000. He was a senior police officer at the time, not from cancer, but we had a wonderful marriage. And so when he died in 2000, I wanted something to do to share some of that love, or to, take up some time. And I met Dr. Bloomfield at a meeting talking about Cancer Society, because I was battling up between which organization should I join. And when I heard him talk about needing volunteers for the Cancer Society, I went there in 2000, like a month or 2 after my husband died. So I've been with the Cancer Society from 2000. I went there, I worked on every committee. I was the vice president. I moved to the president, and I stepped down as president when I was coming to Canada, because I'll be off for 6 months out of the year. But I am still very much involved in the Cancer Society.
How long have you been a part of the Cancer Society?
21 years.
21 years, okay.
Yes. Yes.
Somebody just sent a note saying that you worked with her mom in the public treasury and her mother died from colon cancer. And that's Cynthia Bain. I don't know if you remember her.
Yes, Cynthia.
Yes.
I think she's from one of your church members.
Yes.
Used to be. Cynthia was like a sister. We worked actually in the same office in data processing. Yes.
And she succumbed to colon cancer, which we will talk about later on in the show. Okay.
And so that's me. So Canada, Bahamas. I'm still working for Cancer Society from here. Actually, I'm co-chairing the board still. I'm doing my part right here from Canada. Like you say, technology makes everything easy, and you can do it if you want to do it.
Okay.
Yes.
And yes, we want to welcome this evening my dear colleague and friend who I've known now for the past since 2007 to 2000. No, before that, almost 15 plus years. Dr. Nicholas Fox from the Medi Center. Dr. Fox is a very renowned physician, and he's very trained and skilled in emergency medicine. And he loves and is passionate about his work and his patients. And so he works long hours trying to bring health to individuals. So good evening, Dr. Fox, and welcome.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
Tell us about you.
My name is Nicholas Fox, F-O-X. A lot of people spell my name F-A-W-K-E-S. No, it's F-O-X. I'm one of the co-owners of the Medi Center. I'm presently stationed at the Collins Avenue branch, which is branch number 1. I had an office in Exuma with Dr. Jackson for 20 plus years, but after being diagnosed with colon cancer and doing chemo and the back and forth was just too much. So we closed that one down. I am divorced with 2 kids. My daughter, Dr. Nicolette Fox, is currently completing her family medicine residency in Tallahassee, Florida. And my son, Nicholas, most people know him as the Compost King. He started a compost business, making compost and fertilizers and soil, et cetera, and he's very keen on reducing pollution and waste in this country.
Excellent.
And I'm very proud of him to have chosen that, and he's very passionate about it. I'm a devout Catholic. I attend St. Anselm's Church. I've been practicing medicine for 32 years. I have a specialty degree in HIV and STDs, and I'm currently pursuing a master's degree at the University of Edinburgh School of Medicine in international medicine and family medicine. Hopefully, I hope to retire next year and move to UK and teach medical school. That's always been a passion of mine, to teach medical school. We don't have a medical school here, so I can't do it here. But I'd love to finish my years teaching medical school and physical diagnosis. I'm a cancer survivor. We'll talk more about that in the show. I'm a cancer survivor, 8 years now. I've had a lot of support while going through the stages of being diagnosed, the surgeries, the treatment, and life after cancer. I've had a lot of support. So it'll be interesting to tell my story. I don't know what else there is to say. I'm pretty popular.
Okay, that's
People
enough.
like me. I don't know.
Oh, he's passionate about carnival and traveling, all those things. I mean,
that's my love,
that's the person I know.
Yes.
And yes, he and I joined him back in the 2000, and I was a part of his clinic in Exuma. And that's how I really linked up with Dr. Fox. And Dr. Fox is a distant relative of mine, believe it or not. I'm related to the Fox and that family. But as he said, both of us were diagnosed with cancer at some point. I ended my practice down there in about 2008, and by 2009 and 2010, I was diagnosed. And then a few years after, Dr. Fox was diagnosed. So it was interesting that both of us worked together, and then both of us had to go through that journey. So this evening, we're going to hear a bit about Dr. Fox's journey and why it's important for him to talk about it, because you find a lot of times medical persons don't like to talk about their diseases and conditions. We want the patients to talk about it, but we too are patients, and we get affected and afflicted by things. And so it's important for us to let others know that we too need support, we too need care, and we understand what you are going through. So this is going to be an exciting show. Now, this show is about the Cancer Society. And as we said, this month is Cancer Month. And so we're going to start with talking about the Cancer Society. Laverne, I want you to tell us, where is the Cancer Society located and what has it been doing here in the Bahamas for the past, tell me how many years, because I was surprised when you told me this evening.
Okay, the Cancer Society is located 2 doors south of ZNS. That big white upstairs, beautiful building just down.
Very beautiful, people. If you've never been there before, go there, visit, and take a look. Very nice facility. I've been to a few in America, but I've never seen any like ours here in the Bahamas.
Yes. And so the Cancer Society of the Bahamas is a non-profit voluntary organization with its mission to serve the public through education programs aimed at prevention, early detection, and treatment of cancer, while providing support to cancer patients and their families. The Cancer Society established in 1976, so we're celebrating our 45th anniversary this month. Yes, 45 years old. And we'll continue.
That's almost as old as me, I think. I think I'm close to that.
I am telling you. All right. And we'll continue to assist the Bahamian communities to fight cancer. And since 1990, a proclamation was recognized by the Prime Minister then, Sir Lyndon Pinling, that the month of May be observed as Cancer Awareness Month. So from 1990, we have been celebrating Cancer Awareness Month in May.
How many presidents have you had over the years?
Wow.
Amazing. What names can you remember? I know for sure Dr. Bloomfield, and I know he did a wonderful job, and he was...
Bloomfield was on the board, but when I joined in 2000, but first of all, Mrs. Susan Roberts is the founder.
Yeah, and we have to recognize her.
Awesome lady. I mean, I can go on and on about her tonight, but we appreciate her. We love her so much. And I always tell her she is my motivation. Sometimes I feel I want to give up, but when I look at her and what she has done and what she's doing, that gives me inspiration to continue to go on. So we just want to say thank you so much, Mrs. Roberts, for your contribution over these 45 years.
Kudos to Mrs. Roberts.
Yes. So when I joined in 2000, Judy Ward Carter
remember her.
Was the president. Then we had Terry Fountain.
Yeah, Terry. Yeah.
But before Judy, what I can remember is Pamela Burnside.
That's right, yes. Pam Burnside, yeah.
Pam Burnside. Judy, Terry. Then we had Earl Bethel.
Yes, Earl. Yeah, I remember Earl.
From Earl. And then it was Dr. Williamson Shea. I can't remember further back.
Okay.
Yes.
And what is the purpose of the Cancer Society here in the Bahamas?
The purpose, like I said, is to educational programs aimed at prevention of detection, of treatment, to provide support. And I think one of the main things is providing support to cancer patients. At the Cancer Society, we have 10 rooms, 10 beautiful rooms, where we have, each room has 2 beds. I mean, it's like an apartment.
It's a hotel away from home.
Right. Like it is we call it a home away from home. where we house patients coming in from the family islands who don't have anywhere here to stay. Here, I'm saying here, but you know,
In Nassau.
in Nassau while they're doing their treatment. And a lot of times you may have families, but they don't want to be taking you back and forth because you have to go to oncology, you have to go to the doctor, you have to go this way and that way. So they stay at Cancer Society and they are very comfortable while they stay there doing their treatment as long as they have to be there.
Mhm.
And I always say, once you enter the Cancer Society's door, you feel the love, you feel comfortable. Okay, now the rooms were always free of charge. But since this year, January, we had, because of COVID, and no fundings were coming in, we had to charge a small fee. And so far, we're doing good with that.
And what's the small fee? What would you consider small fee?
A small fee, if they're there for a week, I think it's $100.
Oh my dear, that's nothing. If you go and see the facility, it's nothing. Yeah.
If they're there for a day or two, because sometimes they have to come in for a day or two, and then they may have to leave because of reasons. $20 a day.
Okay.
And if they're there for over a month, I think it's like $300 from there on. And I think we had to charge that because, like I said, we couldn't have any fundraising events. So no funds was coming in. And we wanted to keep our doors open.
Okay. Let me just bring in Dr. Fox. Now, Dr. Fox, you're one of the directors at the Cancer Society.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah. What made you decide to come on board with the Cancer Society? Now, I've seen you to several balls, but what made you decide to?
Well, I was asked, they had a spot that they needed filled, and I was asked if I would be interested. And I jumped at the chance because this was now my opportunity to tell my story and for me to be a strength for people that are currently going through what I've been through. And, you know, they can realize that, hey, this is doable. You know, most people equate the word cancer with death. And then when you meet survivors and you see people who have survived and they're doing pretty good and the years are just adding up, it gives you more hope and more desire and determination to fight. And that's one of the reasons why I joined.
Now, please list some of the type cancers we have here commonly in the Bahamas and some of the cancers, because when we think of cancer here, the main one is breast, you know, but hey, that's why I'm on my ping this evening. I'm representing. But just tell us of all the different types of cancers, Dr. Fox.
Well, there are so many. I'll start from the most common, like you said, breast, prostate, colon, pancreas, brain. We have certain spinal cord cancers. We have a lot of brain cancers. We have blood cancers like the lymphomas. Skin cancer, we see a lot in Caucasians here. It's just a whole list. Anything.
Thyroid is a big one, it seems like now.
Is a big one, yeah. We've been seeing quite a few of those.
What about bone?
Yeah, some bone. Most bone that we see are metastatic, especially in men from the prostate. They normally come in with really bad back pain. And, you know, when you do the x-rays and you do the PSA, sometimes the PSA is in the thousands. And so you know that the cancer has already spread to bone. You see sarcomas, you see other bone cancers too, but not as prevalent as metastatic bone cancer.
Okay. Yeah. And then colon is big. What about kidney?
It's in the top 3. Kidney, not so big. I've lost a very dear friend to kidney cancer, and I have a colleague who had kidney cancer, but he survived. So kidney cancer is not that big, but you see a few. Just about any organ that you can have, any growing tissue, you can have a cancer associated with that. We see a lot of cervical cancer, a lot of uterine cancers. And the thing with these two is cervical cancer is 100% preventable by doing the pap smear. And we have guidelines for that. And we even do free pap smears in the Family Islands, the Cancer Society, to encourage women to undergo the screening process as a preventative measure. and reduce the amount of deaths from cervical cancer. Amazingly, a lot of people still die in this country from cervical cancer, and I cannot for the life of me understand why. Uterine cancer, we see that a lot, mostly in menopausal women. They stop seeing their menstrual for a while, and then they come in and they say, "Oh, Dr. Fox, I had a menstrual and it was heavy." And right there, you do your biopsy, and 99% of the times it's uterine cancer. So we see a fair amount of that, but more so in the older population and the young. Ovarian cancer, cancer of the vagina. I saw for the first time in my practice um, penile cancer. First time ever. But he decided to get his treatment in the US. He disappeared after that, and I haven't heard from him. I've seen breast cancer in men here as well. Unfortunately, the 2 persons that I saw with breast cancer succumbed to the disease. So, I mean, that's not good. That's a terrible rate right there. But like I said, there are numerous cancers here. But the 3 top ones are prostate, breast, and colon. And we have a significant gene here that is responsible for all this breast cancer. But prostate and colon, they're 100% preventable. They're 100% curable if caught early. You just need to do your proper screening. If you have any questions, just ask your doctor, when should I come in for a prostate exam? Do you think I need a prostate exam? Most men come in at end stage with prostate or advanced disease because they're afraid of having the prostate check and what it entails, and they feel demasculated. They feel their homophobia kicks in, and so these fears prevent them from actually getting the prostate exam. And it's a shame because that exam lasts it's just as uncomfortable for the physician as it is for the patient.
Well, I mean, if they were a woman and what we have to go through on a annual basis, I mean, you wouldn't see them. Okay?
Exactly, and it's a very quick exam. The doctor puts he goes to prostate in 10 seconds. It's done, and most of the time when they do have it, they're like, "That's it. That's what I was so afraid of." And the thing is, that same exam can save your life. Yeah. It can save your life.
Someone asked, and this is just a quick question, what causes cervical and uterus cancers related to sexually transmitted diseases?
Of course, yes, it can be. HPV is a known cause of cervical cancer. And of course, with any infection, especially if it's not treated, it creates inflammation, which is not good. And eventually you can end up with cancer in these areas. So, of course, sexually transmitted disease can contribute to uterine and cervical cancer. I was speaking about the colonoscopy. A lot of people feel the same way. They feel like they're going to be violated with this tube going up their rectum. But suppose I didn't do it. Suppose I was afraid. Suppose I was homophobic. Suppose I was just, for lack of a better word, ignorant, and I didn't do it. I would be dead. I would be dead. So you don't even know that they give you a sedative and they tell you to count to 3, and by the time you reach 3, you're waking up and it's all done. You feel absolutely nothing.
Now, Laverne, the Cancer Society is also active in our family violence. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes. Well, we haven't been since March, but we travel to the family island from February to November each year to do free screenings, pap smear, breast exams for ladies, prostate, PSA exams for men. And Dr. Fox talking about about the PSA, I was at since I probably can do pap smear and prostate screening by now because I travel a lot. And I love to be in the office with the doctors to watch what they're doing or to hand them this and to hand them that because I know all the tools that they use now to do those 2 exams. And then dealing with the male, they carry on so bad. Some of them, they would drop their wives or their daughters or the girlfriend and they would sit in the car. So over the past years, I've been going to them. I'm like, hey, you're here to bring XYZ. You need to come in and do your exam. No, no, no. So, you have to just talk to them, even with the blood. Men are afraid to get stick with the needle to take blood. So you have to just encourage them. And you always say it's a quick exam for the male. And I, like Dr. Abby, you said, what if they had to go through it? We go through.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
You talk to them about that. And sometimes they come in and they have it done. Or you're talking to them while they're getting their arm stick. And next second you say, okay, you can get up. And like you said, are you done? Yes, we're done. But yeah, we go to do free screenings all over the Bahamas.
And you have chapters in most of these islands, don't you?
13 islands.
Okay.
13 islands. Yeah.
And their job is to bring awareness to persons on their island about the different types of cancer and what the Cancer Society does.
And their fundraising events, funds stays on that island to support their people. Yeah. Okay. Whatever funds they raise are there to help their people on that island.
Now, the Cancer Society over the years, during the month of May, have been having a ball, cancer ball. It's been a big fundraiser over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to talk a bit about that as time goes on, because that used to be your biggest fundraiser.
Yes.
COVID has definitely interfered with gathering as a group. And so we're going to talk a bit about what they're going to do instead at the end of this month, because they're still having a ball, but it's going to be a virtual ball.
Yes, yes.
And so I want you to listen up, because we have 2 exciting prizes for 2 cancer survivors out there. So if you know any cancer survivors, tell them, listen up, because you may be lucky this evening. But I'm going to move back to Dr. Fox, because I want him now to let the audience know about his journey with cancer. Now, Dr. Fox, the person I knew was one traveling up and down, flying, going here, going there, every time we would be in Exum, and he said, Jackson, I leaving here and I going cross the world tomorrow. And I'm like, I mean, his energy was just beyond mine. People think I'm busy, but no, Fox was times, I used to say he was square root to what I was. And so what changed? What changed, Dr. Fox?
As you know, that chemo is
Well, I mean, even before the chemo, how did you find out you had colon cancer? What were you feeling? Let's take us back to that.
Okay. I had some strange abdominal discomfort about 6 months to 8 months after I had eaten something. And it just got progressively worse. I thought it would go away, it didn't. And then I eventually had to take medication for that.
In your mind, what were you thinking at that time, though? Just poison, food poison, or your allergies, that kind of thing?
Yes. And then that cleared up. And then after that, I noticed every time I go to the bathroom, there will be a little bit of blood. And then several months passed, and I went to the toilet, and there was a lot of blood. But
by this time, what's going through your mind? As a physician now, you're patient and you're physician.
I had hemorrhoids most of my life, and I just, say, oh, these hemorrhoids, as I get older, they get worse. So I went to the bathroom, I passed, and then a week later, I started to have tenesmus. Tenesmus is a feeling you get when you go to the bathroom. You have a bowel movement, but it seems like a lot is still there to come out, like you still have to go. And I started to get that all the time. And then the bleeding, and then the tenesmus, and then I started to have a little bit of abdominal pain. And then one day I went to the toilet, and it was just looked like I opened a can of cranberry sauce and just put it in the toilet, and I was like, oh geez, I have cancer. So I called a colleague of mine, Dr. Bevan Moxie, who went to the same medical school as I did. And I told him, and he says, oh, you need a colonoscopy.
Was that your first colonoscopy at that point?
Yeah, I was 49 at the time. And normally, they start the screening at at 50. Well, it's
Right.
recommended. And he scheduled me. It was a Monday. I went in, and when I woke up, he came and he said, Nicholas, I have bad news.
Oh.
And he was like, I found a lesion and it doesn't look good. So I was like, no, man, no. Two us went in there. You sure that's mine? Because I couldn't believe this. I mean, I was thinking it, I suspected it, but to actually hear it.
Reality of it. It
Yeah.
comes home. It comes home.
And then the first thing that goes through your mind is, what am I going to do? Am I going to die? What do I do? You know, this is happening to me. I can give other people advice, but what do I do? What do I do from here? What's going to happen to my kids? Because they were still pretty young and in high school. My daughter was in university, and I was like, what am I going to do? I can't go and leave these kids. I need to do what's best for me. And so I spoke to Dr. Moxie, and I told him, no disrespect intended, I wanted a second opinion, and he recommended one of the top colorectal surgeons in America, Dr. Weiss at Cleveland Clinic, and I flew over the next day, and he did my colonoscopy. This time, I asked to be awake because I had to see this thing, what's going to change me for the rest of my life. I had to see this for myself. And so when he did the colonoscopy, he showed me the lesion. And he's like, there it is. It looks bigger on the scope, but it's not as big as it looks. And da-da-da. And then they did some other tests where they checked for metastases. And he said it had already metastasized to a nearby lymph node. And so I'm thinking, oh, that means my survival rate. See, having a little bit of knowledge is the worst thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, oh, there goes my survival rate. That's at least 5 years off my survival rate. What am I going to do? I need to act fast. So he sat and he spoke with me, and he gave me my options. If I wanted to do chemo first and then surgery and then more chemo, what I wanted to do. I'm like, you're the expert, but I don't see where it makes sense to do chemo, surgery, then chemo. Let's do the surgery, get it out. Something growing in there. It's not supposed to be there. Let's take it out and we'll do the chemo. So I came back home, and he scheduled us. This was July, the end of July, July 27th. And I came back home and I couldn't work because
By this time now, you need to clear up your schedule. You need to get your life organized.
My mind wasn't together because I'm, the unknown. I don't know what's going to happen. So I came home. They scheduled the surgery for the 8th. I had to do all my prelims and everything. And I did all of those, forward those back. And then he says, okay, we'll go. And the surgery was scheduled. And that happened. And then when I woke up and I saw this bag attached to me and all these tubes and all these drains, I just started crying. And I'm like, I don't think I could do this. I can't do this. To be in that state, I'm sure you've been there too, Dr. Jackson, where when the reality of the situation hits you, you just want to run away from it and you don't want to face it. But my daughter came by when I woke up to the bed and she spoke to me. She was, let me tell you something. She was my pillar of strength. Not one day would she let me get down. She was there to support me. I mean, every step of the way. And she kept encouraging me and even encouraged me to get up out of bed and walk when I didn't want to. And so I had to now accept that, well, I had cancer and I now have to go through this process of getting chemo.
Let me ask you something at this point. You being a physician, how did that impact your life? Because you're telling people that now you have cancer. Now they're telling you have cancer.
It made me a lot more empathetic and in some cases sympathetic to the people who are now diagnosed with cancer. Even people with advanced stage cancer that I know, the ultimate end. I still encourage them, and I always tell people, don't let this define you. The last bit of life that you have, I want you to live to the fullest. The people you love, have them around, let them know you love them. And one thing I talk about, which most physicians don't, and I don't know why, we talk about death and dying. And we sit and we talk about it. Some of them even plan it. I mean, reality is reality. And all of this is going through my mind, what I do while I'm going through this. And it made it very difficult. I remember one time near Christmas, I couldn't get chemo because my cells had dropped too low. And that just devastated me, because I'm thinking, if I miss a dose, that gives a window for the cells to regenerate. And, so I'm now thinking like a doctor, and all it's doing is scaring me more, making me more apprehensive. But, once you have the support system, and that's one of the reasons why the Cancer Society exists. Some people don't have the support system they need, and the Cancer Society can provide that. Once you have the support system and positive people to push you forward and encourage you, you fight, and you just take it from one chemo to the next, and one day to the next. And by the time you realize the chemo is done, you're still alive, you're gaining your strength, and life is getting back to normal. And you just take it one step at a time. I can tell you what having cancer and surviving it has done for me. I don't let anything bother me. Any foolishness, nothing that's important, and I don't worry about things I have no control of or can change. I've learned to enjoy every day to the fullest. If you know me, you'll know. Every time you see me, I'm in a happy mood. I have no reason
and
to
all
be
dressed up. Yeah,
well,
all dressed up.
that makes me feel good, but I have no reason to be sad. I give God all the glory and all the thanks. I praise Him every morning, and I enjoy my day to the fullest, because we don't know if we will even make it through that day. So,
Yes.
I live in the
And that
moment.
has nothing to do with cancer, because many people go to sleep and don't wake up.
Exactly.
Or get hit or die suddenly, tragically, however have you. So but I tell people, though, having cancer gives you time and opportunity to
to
get things
reflect.
in order.
Yes, it does.
That's
And
such a,
I'm a strong believer. If I'm happy, that mood will be infectious, and I can, brighten somebody's day, and make that person feel special and uplift their mood.
now you brought in a good point about support. The Cancer Society's job is to support, and you talked about support. Now, what I find here in the Bahamas, and I worked as a volunteer support person for the Cancer Society, and we met on Thursdays. And it was so difficult to get Bahamians, and you find prominent Bahamians in particular who don't want to come and talk about their experience. Why you think that is so prevalent in our country? I'll start with Laverne and then you, Dr. Fox, because you're a renowned physician. And people just do not want to talk about their illnesses. Why is it such a taboo, Laverne?
I am of the same opinion as you, because I know you've been there. You've called me and said that you're there and nobody came out.
People who are in the Cancer Society building themselves, who going through the process, did not want to come to talk and share.
Because when I started there in 2000, we had a vibrant support group for many years. Persons who were chairing that had died on. Gloria took it on. She did a wonderful job. She's passed. And then when I became president in 2013, I think it was, my first thing was, we need to get this vibrant support group back. Because being the Cancer Society of the Bahamas, I think that's the first thing we needed to have in top shape there. So we put out to get volunteers and advertise again. And the groups were doing well. And I don't know what happened. And some things I can't say live went wrong, and persons just scattered other places. And I know, Abby, when you came, it was you and Denise, Nurse Denise Camp, and
Melissa, for
Melissa
sure.
and some others. And we had a wonderful support group. And then, but again, the problem is, like you said, you have persons who right there didn't want to come out or for some reasons. And so we have to start with ourselves first and just continue to encourage. And right now, that's still a thing on me because, like I said, I've always wanted that support group and to see a vibrant support group at Cancer Society all the time. Because even with patients staying there, they need that support. Like I always tell people, they think I'm a cancer survivor. I'm not a survivor. I had a sister and a niece. My sister died, but my niece is still living, doing well. But I am a
cancer?
supporter.
What type cancer they
She
had?
had cancer. I don't remember if it's a kidney or the liver. Kidney, I think it was. But I'm a supporter. I've been a supporter from 2000. And persons who know me know I have supported them. Because even if I do a show on persons who I have helped and support, it will take days. Because that's one of the reasons I went there to lend my support, and I have done that over the years. And I think that's why support group is so dear to my heart.
No, for some reason, in our country, when it comes to support, for one, when you are diagnosed with an illness, and particular cancer, and because it's life-threatening, maybe, and two, I'm sure some certain diseases, people don't want others to know. But we tend to want to just keep it to ourselves or to keep it quiet. Now, cancer in particular, if you're diagnosed with cancer and you have to go through treatment, I tell people the pandemic is a blessing now because you could hide. You don't have to see a lot of people in this day and age. But before the pandemic, if you were active and involved in society, there is no way you can hide and not tell people something is wrong. And when you don't tell them, people begin to suspect. You know how our society go. We could put one and two together. And if you start with chemo and you lose your hair, people know right away what's going on.
Yeah.
But, I found for me, when I was diagnosed and having a business, I said, well, ain't no way I could, because yes, I had, just like Dr. Fox, I had to put my business in order and leave it to go and do treatment for 1 year. And there was no way I could have been gone for that period of time and people weren't going to suspect.
Yeah.
What happened to Dr. Jackson? So I said, you know what? I'm going to let everybody know because I'm not going to be repeating this story over and over and over. And if you don't tell people, people add to the story anyhow. Therefore, I chose to say, listen, this is what I'm dealing with. I will be gone. But the only thing, I need you to pray for me.
Yes,
that's all. Pray for me. Every time you think of me or you, whatever, just pray for me because I need your prayers. But I found at the Cancer Society, we would have exciting sessions, but our prominent people, they ain't coming, for one. Or if they come, they're only coming to hear, to listen. But they ain't going to talk much, or they're not going to say much. But we need each other.
Yes.
Support is so vitally important. We're all human beings at the end of the day. No matter how we may dress up, how we may look, what jobs we have, what part of social society we're in, at the end of the day, we all go home and we have to look at each other and we're all individuals. So support is a major issue that is a problem in our country, and in particular with the Cancer Society. How do you think we can work on that or try to improve that? What are some of the things we could say to our people? Listen, we need support and we need you to support each other. I'm waiting for Dr. Fox to come back in because I think he lost service with the internet. But yeah, I mean, what can we do to get our people to say, listen, support each other, the Cancer Society. And if you're challenged with the illness and you're staying at the facility, there is always someone available for you to come and talk to, someone to pray for you. And more than ever, sometimes, a lot of times, you don't want to talk. Prayer is so vitally important.
Right.
You know?
Sometimes you find persons at meetings, they would come and not talk, but then being there, I think so helps them listening to other persons talk about their cancer. And so eventually they would come out and open up a bit, but like you say, support. I always say support. We need that.
Definitely. Okay, well, let's move on and talk now a bit more of the Cancer Society. Normally during the month of May, the Cancer Society has a ball. Tell us about that ball.
Okay. Last year we had planned a ball, but due to COVID, that was put on hold. And so this year we had to think outside of the box. That's good. So our ball team got together and we thought of having this virtual ball. Came up, we discussed.
What is a virtual ball?
Pardon?
What is a virtual ball?
A virtual ball is you can have your ball from anywhere you're at.
Okay, you hear that?
Okay.
You can be anywhere in the world, anywhere in the country, anywhere in the Bahamas.
And I'm going to have my virtual ball right here.
You can be a part of this ball, people.
Oh, yes.
It's a virtual ball. Okay.
So you can dress up your table at home or your friend's house or in your yard. It's a vintage virtual ball. So
let's break this down so people can get a picture of what we're talking about.
Yes. So we're celebrating the good old days from the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Okay. And so you can dress up to either,
however you choose, whichever decade you want to be a part of.
Yes, however you want to. So we're going to have a prize for best dress. We're going to have a prize for best dressed table. This ball is going to be really exciting. Lots of prizes and surprises. So listen, we just need you to join in. Like I said, you don't have to come out. You dress up however you want to dress up and you relax right at home. Tickets are only $175. And listen, they're going this week. People have been calling and just donating. And right now, I just want to inject in and say thank you so much to the public, corporate Bahamas, individual. You have supported us over the years, and your support on this virtual ball, I'm going to say ahead of time, we thank you. And the ones who have not done anything yet or check on their tickets or whatever, ads, tickets, prizes, please join us. So this ball is scheduled for next Saturday, May 29th at 7 p.m. Like I said, tickets are $175. We have 2 restaurants that partner with us this year for this virtual ball, Sapadilla and Wild Time. So one in the east and one in the west.
Now, what does that mean? You have to provide your own food, or they're gonna provide the food? What all is involved?
They're gonna provide the food. So when you purchase your tickets, actually tomorrow and Saturday we're giving out the goodie bags. You in that bag you will have your voucher for your food, your wine glass, your coaster, whatever goodies we're giving away is going to be in that bag.
And they're to pick these items up the day of the ball?
No, you will get that. We're starting issuing those bags tomorrow at the Cancer Society. Tomorrow and Saturday. Once you show your ticket, you get your bag with your goodies. You even get a arrangement for your table. So next week, Wednesday, You would order your food from the restaurant of your choice,
Okay.
Wild Time or Sapodillo.
Mm.
You have to order ahead of time.
Okay.
On Saturday, I think by 5 o'clock, but all your information will be in your bag when you collect it. You pick up your food on the Saturday, and you can take it home. I think by 5 o'clock you should pick up your food, and you go home and you get set up for your ball, for the virtual ball, and it'll be cybercasting live from Wild Time. We have a band, the Essence Band. We have two DJs. DJs will be playing from the 50s, 60s, 70s up to now, up to 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can zoom into whichever room you want to hear music, whichever type of music you want to hear. So it's going to be a very exciting ball. We have an auction. We have raffle prizes. I don't have the list with me here because I didn't go in a meeting this afternoon. But we have a lot of wonderful prizes. I think they're packaged in threes. We have, like I said, prizes for best dress, costume, best table. And I think we're going to put in there 2 best dance. You can have a little. So it's going to be exciting.
You can dance in your dining room. You can dance in your backyard. You can dance wherever you choose to dance.
Yes. So it's going to be a very exciting ball. We're looking for a very exciting ball. And I'm sure for what we have planned, just praying that everyone enjoys.
The weather is nice. I mean, it's building up a lot to rain, but hopefully no rain then, because I'm sure they will be broadcasting from outside of Wild Time, or maybe
yes, it'll be yes outdoors.
Okay, so you're looking to have, how many tickets are you planning or hoping to sell?
300.
300.
Yes, for the first time we didn't want to go too much beyond that.
Now listen up, Bahamas. Even other than the ball, the Cancer Society has been in existence for over 40 plus years.
45 years.
45 years. Think about it. The amount of persons who would have gone past through that door, who would have been supported, who would have enjoyed the facilities. Mm-hmm. If each of those individuals, if you can give $45 as a give back for this year, that would be wonderful. However, if you can't give 45, you should be able to give something. And think about it, even if you give $1, I mean, if you think about it, every month, give $1 toward the Cancer Society, that would be a big help. So many persons benefit from that institution. So many persons have family members who would have benefited, and particularly those persons who come from the family violence. Yeah. A lot of times you may complain and say, oh, you don't have the monies to do this and do that. But when you think of how the Cancer Society has supported and helped you over the years, that is the least you can do. Our people need to learn to give back. So I'm begging, I'm encouraging, and I'm saying, let's look at our Cancer Society in a different light. It's one of the most beautiful places, institutions you will find around the world, I'm telling you. And Mistress Susan Roberts, over the years, has really given of her time and resources to support and encourage us as a Bahamian people. And that's the least we can do, is to give back, because that institution cannot support itself.
Yes.
The electricity, the gardens, maintenance, all of these things are just as important. So give people, even in this pandemic. And don't say, I don't have it to give, even if you just give $1 a day or $5, however you choose. Let us give to support the Cancer Society. Now, before the show ends, and this is going to be for cancer survivors in particular, because these are the people we want to encourage who may not be able to come out. There will be 2 giveaways. And so if you know persons who are cancer survivors and you're listening, tell them, come on the show and listen up, because I will be doing something at the end, and we will be donating and giving. I'm waiting for Dr. Fox to come back in. He's back again.
I don't know what happened. It just keeps going out.
Don't worry about that. Now, the question I wanted you to address, Dr. Fox, this question of support. Okay? why do you think, as a prominent person in our society, why do you think people do not like to talk about their condition and to seek support? Why is that a big taboo in our country?
Boy, if I knew the answer to that. But I'll tell you about some hypotheses that I have, some theories that I have. Um, I know when I was diagnosed and I started to tell people about my story, they're like, "Oh, why are you telling people that? Ain't nobody need to
Yeah.
know. They're gonna scorn you. They're gonna scorn." I'm like, scorn me for something I had absolutely no control over.
Interesting.
So I think that there's a stigma attached with being sick, especially in men. They feel like if they're sick, they're weak. Um, and then certain cancers, they associate with certain lifestyles, and they just don't want people to know. They don't want people to stigmatize them. They don't want people to look at them in a different way. They don't want people to, I guess, some people don't want people to have sympathy for them. Um, and I guess some people just don't want to share their story for whatever reason it is. But I encourage people to share their story because your experience can make somebody else's experience so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So less taxing on the mind. People can have peace of mind knowing that you went through it, so
Yes.
I can do it too. We enable these people by encouraging them, and we give them the support by telling them our story, that this is doable. This does not mean it's a death sentence. But a lot of people, they feel if they tell somebody they're sick or they have cancer, either people are going to look at them different and think they're going to die. There's a lot of stigma attached, and we need to get rid of that stigma and let people know that it's okay to be diagnosed with cancer. It's not any fault of yours, but it's okay, and it's
Yeah.
not a death sentence.
Somebody just wrote that they're right now dealing with cancer all over again. Man, it's hard, but with God, all things are great. And that is so true. Um, I say to persons also, when something happens to you, you going through it because it's gonna be support for somebody else. Things
Yeah.
don't happen to us randomly. Things happen, you go through it because now you are going to be a support to somebody else. And then think about it. It provides a platform for you. I couldn't talk about cancer if I don't go through it, if I didn't go through it. And the same as Dr. Fox, he's seeing patients over and over, but because he's gone through it, he can empathize and he can understand. Listen,
Right.
these things may happen, but just take one day at a time, do what you're supposed to do, and leave the rest up to God, because we ain't in control anyhow. God is
Yes.
in control.
Yes.
Your physicians will try their best and give whatever treatments they recommend, but at the end of the day, the Lord is still in control.
That's right.
One other question I wanted to ask you, Dr. Fox. Everybody knows that in our country in particular, people who've never gone through an illness love to give advice, especially when it comes to chemotherapy. What do you say to the audience out there? I remember hearing many stories, no, don't do that because it's this, it's that, the next. And these people have never even experienced what aspirin could do or whatever. What do you say in terms of that?
I'm surprised a lot more Bahamians are not preachers because they could spread a word.
Well, no, don't let's
Bahamian,
say not preachers. Let's say physicians or something. Let's say,
Bahamians, I find, like to spread negativity, and with the invent of social media,
Social media. Mm-hmm.
it's even worse because now they and the thing is, a lot of these things that they forward to other people, they don't even read and understand. They just forward it because it looks interesting and somebody forwarded it to them. Ask them what it's about, they can't tell you.
Can't tell you.
It's and the same thing is with cancer. I have heard so many stories about the chemo is diluted bleach that is put in you, it's poison, it's this, it's that, it's to next. And I'm like, or people tell me to boil this leaf and drink this bush or eat that root. And I'm like, the thing with chemo is it's tried and it's proven. Okay. I have many patients who went through chemo and they've survived and they come back to me. So I'm going to try it. Now, I had no reservations in trying the chemo, but if I had listened to people, I would have doubts and be skeptical. But once I read the literature and I realized that the chemo actually works and it gives you a normal life if it works, I said, why not? And here I am today, 8 years later. But keep the naysayers away, keep the negative people away. People will always come, when you tell somebody, oh, I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. Oh, my uncle just died from that last week. That's the last thing I want to hear.
Yes.
And people just love to do that. Keep all the negative things away. I remember when I was on chemo number 7, I turned black, literally black. The palm of my hands were black. My nails were black. My lips were black. I didn't even want to come out the house. And one of my dearest friend came to me and he said, oh my God, oh Lord, look at you. Jesus, look at what you become. And listen to me, that crushed me.
Mm.
That crushed me. And after that, I didn't want anybody around me. And I say that to say, when people are down at their lowest and they're going through this, keep the negative thoughts and the negative comments to yourself. A negative
Absolutely
comment
right.
may tip somebody over to the point where they commit suicide.
Yes.
And you would have what would you have achieved by making that comment? Absolutely nothing. So keep the negative comments to yourself. When you're doing chemo and you start to see physical changes, the weight loss, the darkening of the skin, you're at your lowest point. And then you're thinking you're gonna die. So you don't need people hammering in the negativity to make you feel even worse. And at that point, when my friend said that, I was like, what am I fighting for? What am I fighting for?
Another thing too, and this comes with counseling and training. I think a lot of times we have to recognize and understand that when people are going through something, because it's the same thing, when death happens, people they won't rush there to think they have something to say, or I know what you're going through. No, you ain't. You don't know what I'm going through. But a lot of times we need to learn to just come alongside, to be quiet and just be there. But a lot of times we feel we need to have something to say or to give words of wisdom or encouragement, whatever the case is. But in most cases, we just need to go and be there and be that kind of support. If they need me to do anything,
Support.
when you're at your lowest state, a lot of times you don't feel like talking, you don't want to be bothered. And anybody who's gone through chemo, depending on the type or whatever you have, some days whenever you're vomiting or whenever you feel bad, you at your lowest state, you just need somebody to be able to hold the pan, to collect the vomit maybe, or just to wipe your mouth or whatever without saying anything. And
Just your presence.
right, and a lot of cases you can't have a lot of people around you at that point because you're at your lowest state. But we can become more supportive by just being there for people, just being there, praying, giving, and helping. If they need anything, just be able to bring it, support, and that sort of thing. But and it comes with time, it comes with experience, and the best teacher is experience, because when it hits your door, then your response will be different. However, I just think as a country, we really need to become more supportive and learn to just talk about these illnesses and things, because they're not going anywhere. We don't bring them upon ourselves. If we're destined to have it, it will happen.
Yes.
Now, Dr. Fox, in terms of the Cancer Ball, what would you say to the listening audience about the ball?
Oh, I can't hear.
The thing about this ball is it's a virtual ball. So it's the first of its kind for the Cancer Society. So we want this to be fun-filled and exciting. And the theme is, I think it's something to do with the past.
The good old days.
The good old days. So now you can dress up in your Afro wig and your bell-bottom pants and your halter top. And you can do this either in the privacy of your home, or you can go to one of these restaurants with your friends and you can show off and show your shape Sure, you fit on the
How
7
many persons
table.
are they accommodating at the restaurants?
The restaurants, I think we've already booked with the tables. They just gave us 5 tables each. And so therefore the partners and sponsors.
So those tables have already taken. So you'd have to wine and dine in the comfort of your home or friends or somebody else.
But I think maybe the if you go to the restaurant, you may be able to get a personal table, I would say, a little group. If you have 2 of you go, you probably can have your table there. I'm not sure. Dr. Fox, you say
Yeah,
something?
you can have a table, like we normally get a table for 10, or even if people
They're
buy
providing
tables.
tables on site. I mean, at the 2
Yeah,
local restaurants.
yes, they are. You can dine in if you want.
So they can accommodate quite a few persons. That's what we're trying to find out. Is there a limit?
I don't have the limit yet. I guess as we start to sell for that, we will know, or they will know more. But I don't know the limit yet.
Yeah, well, at the moment it's 5 tables. So
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
And what are some of the prizes, Laverne? Any idea? Some of the prizes?
Like I said, I don't have. We have.
What are some of the prizes you've had in the past?
Oh,
Yes, I'm
trips,
sure they trips. Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
close. Jewelry.
jewelry.
We have some beautiful jewelries. We have
I think some nice bags,
paintings,
Yeah.
bags. Dr. Jackson, we have an eye exam from you. You've
Mhm.
always been supportive to us. We have a rental car for a whole week.
So a lot of different
A lot of nice
surprises
prizes. Yes, I was
and
trying to look at them.
surprises. Okay,
Look
now
at them.
we're
Just
mhm.
before you do, I would be remiss if I don't talk about our honorees.
Oh yes, for sure,
Yes.
yeah.
So there'll be our 2020-21 honorees because
They were
nothing
supposed
happened
to be
last
honored
year.
from last year.
Yes. And so our Susan Andrews Award is going to Dolores Farrington.
Tell us about Dolores, that lady.
Listen here. Someone called me on her today. I can talk about Dolores because I have been with the ball committee from 2001, from we've started to today. Dolores came from Atlantic Medical. They had sent a few ladies to help out because Atlantic Medical was supporting us, Cancer Society. And Dolores is the only one that is still there today.
Wow.
And I always
Lisa Bella is still there, I think.
Lisa is still at Atlantic. Yeah. But she didn't help this year, I think, because of
Oh, well, her
probably,
dad is dealing with, he's dealing with his situation.
Yes, but she has been a co-chair at the ball committee, on the ball committee also. And so Dolores is well deserving of this award. Like I always say, she sells the balls with her tickets. Dolores sells a ticket. She may be saying, Laverne, why did you say that? But I tell it the way it is. And like I said, she's well deserving of this award. And I'm just sorry I won't be there because I always told her we've been together from that time. I wanted to be by your side, but she knew I will be there in spirit. I think you have some interference. Okay, now I can go on.
What? It's called the what?
Oh, I didn't hear you. You went out.
The name of the award, the
Susan Andrews Award.
Who was Susan Andrews, by the way?
And I don't have that there. She was someone at Cancer Society who donated a lot of funds and supported Cancer Society.
Okay.
And she passed on, and so I guess in honoring her, we started doing the Susan Andrews Award.
Okay.
And the Lifetime Achievement Award this year goes to Commonwealth Bank.
Okay. Now, what role have they played in this over the years?
Wow. Over the years, because we started doing companies, I think it was Right for Hope at that time, who have given us a lot of funds and helped us to pay off our debt on the new building. And then Atlantic Medical, who have supported us with funds. So we went in range of fundings, how much, who gave the most. So we started like that. And so Commonwealth is third in there, who has been very supportive of Cancer Society and donating funds to us to help
Okay.
our costs. Yes.
So they're the two honorees. You said
Yes.
Dolores Farrington for sure,
And Commonwealth
and
Bank.
Commonwealth
And
Bank.
we congratulate them on being our recipients for this year.
Now, if persons want to get involved with the Cancer Society, how do they? What can they volunteer or assist in? Because it's a volunteer situation.
It is. Because persons always ask me if I was getting paid. Because even when I was the president and had a full-time job, thank God I had a wonderful boss, the treasurer, who allowed me to move around. I was at Cancer Society all the time. But I always say, when you have a heart for something, you would do it however and whenever. And so we right now, a lot of stuff is on hold because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But we have on the website, you can go to our website and you'll see the application is there. So they can go there and fill out the application, which is www.cancersocietybahamas.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Or they can call the Cancer Society 323-4441 or 323-4482. So they can just go online. Everything we do is transparent, is online. And any questions, they can just call to get more answers.
Now, in this COVID environment, it's a bit difficult to say go to the society because, they don't want anyone. But
Yes, I'm
in
saying.
the past, persons could help with transportation, you can help with providing a meal, you can help with prayer, you can help with taking them out for an evening, a drive, anything. There are so many things. But in this COVID environment, I'm sure there are media platforms where they should be able to connect with the persons and
they
to
can
be
still
able
go
to
and the
just
persons will come out because we have a room there where the guests
can still social
instead of
distance.
going in the back. Yes.
Right. You can
And
social
so
distance.
our fundraising events, we can help Strive for Life, our walk. We was trying to plan something that didn't come off, but they're still looking at doing something. The gala ball, we have the raffle, the bingo, Love's Light a Tree. We even have the thrift shop. So persons can probably volunteer to help at the thrift shop. They're open on Fridays, I think, half a day. We have a book sale. We have T-shirts for sale. So you can still go up at the Cancer Society and look around and volunteer wherever, or at least put your application in to volunteer. And once everything is back in force, we let you know. But like in the thrift shop, you can donate stuff to the thrift shop and you can volunteer your time to serve there.
And you could also buy stuff from the thrift shop.
Definitely.
Dr. Fox,
Yes.
as far as you know, is there any research going on in the Bahamas involving cancer at this point in time?
I remember when
Remember when the BRCA, when the Cancer
Yes.
Society was involved with the BRCA initiative?
Yes.
But apart from that, anything that's going on, do you know?
That's what I was about to say. I remember when
Well, we'll see if he'll come back in. But tell us a little bit, Laverne, what the BRCA initiative was about back then. Are you familiar with that?
Not. I would rather Dr. Fox to talk about that one.
Okay, well, I could talk briefly. You remember the former ambassador to the Bahamas?
I remember Dr. Siegel.
U.S. Siegel, his wife, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And therefore, they partnered with the Susan G. Komen program. And because there was such a high rate and risk of breast cancer here in the Bahamas, they decided to start the initiative. I think it was done in tandem with a company out of Canada and the University of Miami. And they were pretty much testing women for the BRCA gene. And funds were being solicited and raised, and it was going very well. But of course, as with everything, money runs out. And therefore, a lot of women benefited from it because they were able to test But since that, I don't think anything is happening now. Do you know of any other initiatives or research that's happening with the Cancer Society
No,
at
not at
this
this
point
time.
in
Not
time?
at this time, no.
No.
And talking
And
about the BRCA, I think someone asked Dr. Shea on the show on Monday about that, and I think he said, I don't remember the cost, but I know he said it's very expensive if you wanted to do that now. But then it was free when the Seagulls was doing it.
yeah, BRCA testing is very expensive.
Expensive, yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of insurance companies here don't want to take it on unless it's, I mean, your doctor has to kind of put it in depending on what their results come back and say.
Mhm.
But under normal circumstances, normally women just can't go in and say, well, I want to do BRCA testing. It's a costly, but my hope and prayer is that we have more research going on here in the Bahamas in terms of all the different cancers.
Yes.
Because if we don't have numbers, statistics, it's difficult to really let the world know exactly where we
What's going
stand,
on
and
here?
that's
Yeah.
so important. Yes, Dr. Fox, as you were saying, we'll have you in and out. That's fine.
I don't know what's going on. I do a HIV STD course every year at Harvard in Boston, and the last time I was there, just before the pandemic, they were doing something called the Nassau study with HIV and cancers associated with HIV. That's the only study I know or I heard of that was going on recently about cancer and cancer research.
What about locally with the oncologist or anything? Do you know?
No, I'm not aware.
And what about the national registry? Do you have any information on that? I mean, in
I know
terms of
that
cancer
I know that
registry?
there is one, and I don't know the details about it. I should know them, but unfortunately, I don't. But I know one exists.
Okay, okay. We talk a lot about cancer, but we have very little statistics to show. And
Yeah.
that's
Yes,
why that is
yes.
a problem, because if you can't give statistics, it's difficult to get funding. You know, it's difficult to
Yeah,
get
it's really
funding.
needed. Yes.
And
And and the practice with seeing so many people and with the diagnosis, you tend to get a little survey after so many years, after like 10 years, of what are the most common cancers that present in my office, what stage they present at, how successful has treatment been in the past 10 years. So you kind of create your own list of statistics. Unfortunately, these statistics can't be published because they have to be verified and evidence-based, etc. Um, but it would be nice if there was some group or something that I can submit statistics to, and then we verify these statistics and compare them to other clinics and see if this is indeed the case.
yeah. Now, as we kind of begin to wrap up, Dr. Fox, anytime I have the physicians on, I like for us to highlight health. Health. I mean, you know, what should we as Bahamians be doing to protect our health?
Well, as you know, and speaking about cancers, there are many precursors to cancer, and one of the main precursors to cancer is obesity. And as you know, we like to eat and get big over here.
Well, we big and
Uh,
sexy here in the Bahamas. I
oh no
mean,
no 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 no!
that's our
I
trademark, eh?
I have people waiting outside my office with rock and bottle after I say this. I don't think being big is sexy.
No, it's not.
It's because it puts you at risk for ill health. You never feel 100% all the time. There's always some issue, and it massacres your self-esteem. So how could being big and fat and out of shape be sexy? You don't feel good. When you're sexy, you're supposed to feel sexy. You're supposed to, exude sexiness. But if you're feeling down, or your sugar too high, or your blood pressure high, or cholesterol choking up your blood vessels, how you gonna feel good about yourself? So we need to review our diet, and Bahamians don't like to exercise. I know me for one. I only do it when carnival season come in. So my costume can look good. But we need to exercise, and we need to make these things fun. People don't exercise because it's boring and it's laborious, but if you make it fun and you're doing it with somebody you want to do it with, and be around positive people who have the same goals and aspirations in terms of your weight and your appearance as you do, and your health condition as you do. Don't make sense you out there running and you hanging with somebody who wants 6 pizzas a day or drinking 2 gallons of soda. No.
And what about alcohol? Because that contributes quite a
Yeah,
bit.
I was just gonna get to that. And we like to drink, and people don't realize that alcohol is just sugar. And we consume a lot of alcohol. It really does nothing for you. We smoke. It's the fashion for these guys to be smoking a big cigar when they go out, or some people smoke cigarette, and a lot of people smoke marijuana. Um, and all these type of bad behaviors contribute to cancers as well, and increase your risk exponentially to developing cancer at some point in your life. To negate this, we need to encourage healthy lifestyles with education. We need good education programs that get across the board to everyone. Sometimes the information that we put out is above some people's head, so we need to bring it down. I saw um, when we were big on HIV, they used the banana as an example. Cover your banana. We need simple stuff like that so people can understand and realize, hey, it's okay if I go and get a mammogram. It's okay if I go and get my breast examined. Hey, I need a pap smear so I don't develop cancer because my mom died from cancer. And people need to know their family history. That is
Oh, that is
extremely
so
important.
important in our country.
That
Very
is
important.
so important. Your mommy died, but she died from, I know she just did. No, man, you got to do better than that. She may have died from something that you carry in your body as a gene that you can prevent through proper screening and whatever treatment there is. Um, but people just show no interest, and that it's extremely important to know your family history. Um, get enough sleep. People don't realize the importance of sleep. Get enough sleep. Some people, they're like nocturnal creatures. They won't be up all night and up all day and deprive themselves of sleep. Sleep is a time when you repair, regenerate, and rejuvenate. Okay. So you need to shut the factory down for a bit and let it repair itself. And then we need to eat healthy. We need to eat more fruits and vegetables. Yes, it's expensive to eat a healthy diet, but look at how expensive it is not to eat a healthy diet. Um, and we need to exercise. We
And
sit down.
exercise doesn't mean you have to go there and run. You could walk in place. I
Yeah,
said someone today you could walk steps in a box in your room, wherever. Just do something.
Yeah.
you'll be amazed at the amount of exercise you could do right sitting at your desk at work.
Yeah.
Go online. That's what the phone is for. The phone is not for Facebook and Instagram popularity contest. It's for information. If you have a question, look it up. Okay? Educate yourself so that you can know what you need to do as preventative measures so that you can live a better, healthier life. Okay?
Yeah.
You see a lot of these Bahamian men when they reach a certain age, everybody walking around with a pot belly, and they think that's fashionable. That creates so much problem, and that is a precursor to so many different cancers. And that can be negated by, slowing down on the drinking. You don't have to drink a case of beers when you go out. You could drink one or two. You don't have to drink every time you go out. And exercise. There's nothing wrong with getting up an hour earlier and going for a walk. And
Yeah.
watch your weight. Watch your weight. We tend not to watch our weight. Go on the scale every so often. And when you see you're accumulating some pounds, cut back.
Don't tell that to a
Exercise.
woman though, because that's frustrating. The man
I
could go on the
know.
scale, but we women no. We don't want to go on no scale because when we see that they're stuck,
And the
and I
thing
mean we working out hard, but it's stuck.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, but there's a lot we can do to live better. A lot.
Definitely, definitely. And to Miss Wild Goose, as we begin to end and taper, what final words would you say to the Bahamian public concerning the Cancer Society?
Okay. Again, I guess I would like to thank everyone for what they've done in the past, but we need your support more now than ever. Because of the pandemic, like I said, we are fundraising events. Hopefully we will start to get back in order. But please support the Cancer Society. And like you said, Dr. Jackson, you never know when it's your time. And a lot of persons don't support until
Something happens.
something happens close to home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And even with the Cancer Society, as much as we have meetings and radio shows, TV shows talking about Cancer Society, a lot of people still don't know where Cancer Society is until something happens. So, Dr. Fox, what you said just now, educate yourself about these things, see where you can help, where you can support. We always need your help. We always need your support.
I'd like to
Check
say that,
your doctors, get your monthly or yearly checkups,
yes,
early detection.
of course. I'd just like to say, I think if we make a little bit more effort to try and remove the stigma associated with being diagnosed with cancer and the fear, we will have a lot more people interested in donating. And I encourage people to donate. You can do fun things like 1 month, if you work in an office, you can put an envelope for Cancer Society, even if it's $1, $2, whatever. Give back, because you never know. I never in my wildest dreams thought I would have cancer.
Yeah.
Never.
And
So you never know.
we're next month will be 6 months into the year, and we don't know who's going to be diagnosed between now and
No
the
one is
rest of the year.
exempted, eh?
Okay, and every day you're
Yes.
hearing about somebody.
Yeah.
So it has no respect of persons.
Nope.
And even the patients saying there, like you mentioned earlier from the islands, some of them, they do need help. When you talk, this came back to me now, even with meals, some fruits, some drinks, you can just drop it off at the Cancer Society. We really appreciate it.
Now the ball is on the 29th. It
Next
starts
Saturday at 7 p.m.
The tickets are how much?
$175.
And if you want to get a ticket, where do you call? Who do you contact?
You can contact the Cancer Society, or the ball email is cancersocietyball@gmail.
cancersocietyball@gmail.com.
Yes.
That's who you can contact if you want to get a ticket.
Yes.
Now, they're going to be giving away 2 tickets this evening, Dr. Fox, how do you think we should raffle these off?
Okay.
And it's for cancer survivors, please.
Survivors. I just want to say this. Even if you're not a ball person or you're not interested, this is the time for you to show your giving spirit. You can buy a ticket. You can give it to somebody else. Okay? If you have a business, you can buy some tickets for somebody else. You don't necessarily have to come if you're not a ball person. But we've had a rough year this last year and even this year, and we need the funds to continue to give the support that we do, especially for the people from the family islands. Imagine you live in a remote family island, you're diagnosed with cancer, you have nobody in Nassau, nowhere to go. Put yourself in that situation. That alone is terrifying, let alone you have to deal with the cancer. So we encourage you to give, and we encourage you to support us continuously, because you never know when it will be your turn or some loved one's turn. In terms of giving the prize, the first person to call in, I guess.
Well, I'm going to let him know in a minute. But on that final note that you said, I think though family island persons need to also know that you need to give back in return. Okay?
I agree.
When you are blessed with whatever you get here, when you go back home and you're better and things are doing well, remember on your family, whether you send $5 a month or however, anything is appreciated. And so if you've benefited from the Cancer Society, please, that's the least you can do, is to give back in this particular year. And a lot of times we say we may not have it, but if you put it aside, it will be there. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do for the 2 tickets, and please don't call me if you ain't no cancer survivor or talk about somebody's cancer survivor. All right? But the first 2 persons to contact me on Messenger, okay? It's Abby Jackson to contact me on Messenger right after the show is finished. you will be the two lucky winners of the 2 tickets for the ball, the vintage ball
Yes.
next evening. And
Vintage,
please,
vintage
don't call for these
virtual.
tickets if you ain't get dressed up to go, okay? We don't want you giving it to somebody else. It's for you to utilize and to enjoy the evening.
Yes, because someone has blessed with some tickets, and so, like Dr. Fox just said too, someone has blessed with these tickets to give to survivors, and so we want a survivor to go and enjoy. I spoke with a lady this week and didn't know it was her birthday because I asked someone to give me a name for the other ticket, and they sent me the name, and it was the lady's birthday. She's a 38-month survivor. She
Wow.
was so appreciative. She said, I always wanted to go to the ball. And so this is the kind of things I like to hear when I call persons for a ticket who are a survivor. They're so appreciative. This lady, I mean, she's like, I always wanted to go to the ball. And what a birthday present.
Okay, so if you contact me, it's Abby Jackson on Messenger, the first 2 cancer survivors, you will be the lucky winners this evening of the tickets, $175 for the vintage ball, So I want to thank my 2 special guests this evening, Miss Wild Goose, past president of the Cancer Society, Dr. Nicholas Fox, a director, or one of the board members for the Cancer Society, and of course, a cancer overcomer. I don't call them survivor. I tell people you can't survive. Yes. You've overcome.
Amen.
It's good, and it was wonderful having both of you on the show this evening. This show is Share Your Story. It's informative. It's brought to you by Palmdale Vision Center, and the goal is to educate our people about health and healthcare issues. When we educate persons, we become an informed community and we can make better decisions. We need to support each other. Nobody is immune. And so if you have questions, you can call the Cancer Society, you can call the Medi Center, speak to Dr. Fox. He's always available and willing to share, or you can stop in and see him. And you can also contact me at Palmdale Vision Center if you have any questions or concern. I want to say thank you to our listening audience and to those who've been watching. We're so appreciative of the time you give to us. And we want to say until next time, this is Share Your Story. We want you to have a wonderful evening. And you two don't leave us yet. We will just end it and then we will wrap up together.
Thank you so much.
I want to say thank you. One lady, I saw a note to Laverne, I think Miss Johnson, who said that you've been a good support to her because she's gone through cancer several times and you supported her during that. And it seemed like she's going through some treatments even again. So we want to continue to wish her all the best and continue to stay strong and do whatever you have to do. Until next time, we want to say good evening and thank you very much to all.
Good evening.
Good evening and thank you.